Here we go, and we are live. Fresh out of my cold shower. Today, the first of its kind, Conscious Conversations. Here we go, we have someone on already. Good to see you. Let myself settle down a little bit. I was excited for this and I'm getting pumped and I'm like, what's going on? So in a second, I'm going to be bringing on Paul Holiday from the Human Excellence Project. He's a guy who's living out in Australia. He is originally from Liverpool and grew up in Liverpool, working out in Australia for the last few years. I'm going to let him tell his story a little bit more than I am, but just the backdrop is he's out there and he's started been trying different businesses, successful businesses at that, and now he's moved into Human Excellence Project, and that involves bringing people down to the beach every single day. Again, to give us the number of days in a row that they've done it. He talks to people about anxiety, alcohol related issues, relationships, depression, all that kind of stuff. So a man after my own heart. I've been introduced to him to a friend. There he is coming on now, I think. Paul Holiday, bring him on camera. I was introduced to Paul by a friend of mine, a neutral friend of ours, and we've talked for about 2.5 minutes this morning and a couple of messengers, but now we're going to go live, bring him on camera. Let him introduce. There we go. Can I? Technological resistance. Bring them on camera. Boom. How do I do that? Boom. Bring Paul Holiday on camera. There we go. Awesome. Connecting. Boom. Paul Holiday, how are you, mate?
How are you, mate?
I'm good.
Good.
Over in sunny Perth, yeah? 4 o'clock in the evening. Thanks very much for it.
No worries at all, mate. Thanks for having me on your little live here. Good to be with you.
Yeah. The intention behind this is kind of, I think there's so many of us out there doing our own little research on YouTube and following different people, kind of finding different people, channelers or spiritual people or mindset, different people online, and I kind of really just want to have a dialogue between ourselves and kind of see if there's a spark out of it, or something like that for anybody else.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. I've been resonating with all the stuff you've been putting on lately, mate. It makes a lot of sense, you know.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, man. Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to learn from you now a little bit, because how many days now are you doing the morning?
Well, it's going to be 365 days on the 5th of October. So I think, what are we on the 22nd now? We've got a couple of weeks left. It's
dedication.
Oh, mate, it's been tough, mate. I think the last month's been the hardest bit. It really has been the lead up to it. You know, you learn a hell of a lot about the whole journey by doing it so often. You know, what works, what doesn't work.
Consistency is key. Yeah. Do you find the accountability of people kind of relying on you helps you?
Without a doubt. I couldn't have done it on my own. There's absolutely no way you just turn up on your own with new people every day. And it's gone through different groups all the way from the beginning. It started really, really small, and then we had lots of friends coming down, and then it morphed into something bigger. But as it's grown on, we've got this like core team who I spend a lot of time with, and that team's growing, and these people push me and I push them, and really without them there's no way I could have done it. There's absolutely no way. You know, you need that support and backup. I think we need that in all our lives. Yeah,
100%. Community is one thing that we see. I remember even being over in Australia. There's so many houses. It's the same here. So many houses that don't even really know their neighbours after 10 years and 15 years.
It is crazy, mate. It's not like back in the olden days. You know, when I was young, you knew everybody. You could walk in anyone's house. You're right, and we've been here in where we live in Woodvale in Perth, and you know the people next door. It's not the same. It just doesn't seem to have the same community that it used to have. I know it's what we're trying to bring back in now.
It's good. Yeah. Where did this all start for you, Paul? Where did it all start for you? And where did it come from? Like, what's your background?
Bloody hell, mate! It's as you know, it's a long journey, and I think again, it started for me. Like the big shift started about 5 or 6 years ago. But before that, you know, I've been probably through 2 different lives. I spent, or 3 maybe, one as a kid, learning about life, and then one traveling. Or I spent a lot of time traveling, and then in business, and then, you know, as you morph through life, you have these different journeys. You mix with different people, and you learn along the way. But this section of the journey started, like, as I say, about 6 years ago, when my dad got sick. When you can really start looking at why, and you ask that question: is why are we playing this game? And it is a game. It is a bloody game called life, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, it does have rules, and there is a way to play it. Now I have the hindsight of looking back with all my grey hair, and, you know,
Yeah, feel you, man.
it comes in. You start to learn a little bit about what worked and what didn't work. But for me, it started back then when that tough news comes in, and you've got to start dealing with life and learning about why we're here and what it's all about, you know. But it's we're all going to have these challenges throughout our lives, and for me, it was the dealing with the second time my dad got his cancer. The first time we didn't even think nothing of it. We just thought, right, he got cancer. It's one of them things, right? He got it cut out. He had throat cancer. He had the first operation. It was cut out, and it was like, okay, it's gone now, and we just carry on with life.
Okay.
With hindsight, I wish we could have looked at it in a different way and dealt with it at that point, and changed his diet and changed his routines. And we all could have helped with a little bit more knowledge. And it wasn't until the second time, when it came back, that we really started to look at, why did he get this cancer? What could we all do now moving forward? And that's the lessons, really, is that journey from there. Is me, my brother and my sister started to really research, you know, the preventative measures of how to stop these diseases coming in, mate, which is all it is a disease, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. And that kind of sparked you then to reading books or going to seminars, or just like diving down rabbit holes of health and nutrition, or what was it?
Yeah, it was initially, it started with like the Secret, and someone shared, I think it was friends of ours, Mark and Christine, they shared The Secret with us, the video, and said, watch this. And then that resonated with me, because then I could look back at my own life, at what I thought was luck. I was told I was lucky all the time when I was doing all right in business, and like lucky holiday. These things happened to me because I was just fortunate, and other people weren't fortunate, you know. But then you look back and think, wait, there was patterns that I was pushing myself and putting myself into places, and it wasn't luck. It was really driven by decent habits and routines and people who you surround yourself with, you know, really putting a social structure around you of people who are pushing themselves, and then feeding off each other to get a little bit further on in life. And that's where it began for me, which is Australia, after the global credit crisis, you know, which hit a lot of people I know really hard, you know, and that was in the search for money. And I was always told property was the way to do it. It was like bricks and mortar. No one told me about crashes. Know nothing about crashes and booms and busts. Back then, it was like just buy as many properties as you could. So that's what we did. We invested heavily into property, and that went really well for many years with the mortgage brokerage business and estate agent business. That went really well. But as I say, you learn to surround yourself with people who are really pushing their own lives forward, jump on their coattails, learn from them, implement these things into your own life, and then try and share it with others, you know.
So that was your background. You were in property and in the UK before you came out. Once it went tits up, you went to Australia. Then what happened? What did you do then?
Then I got into a business again back over here. I got into initially it was struggle for a year or so. It's really hard to get a visa into Australia, you know. And we came over on a student visa with my partner, was doing a college course in social work. So she took all the burden of all the hard work, and then on the side I could do 20 hours a week. So I ended up starting my own paving business initially, and then from there I turned it into an artificial grass company. And then from there it started to grow real quick. I started to get myself some decent labourers, and And again, just go a little bit above and beyond, learn a little bit about the industry. But like anything, I'm really made out that I'd done it for a long time and put my adverts out there that I was an expert in that field, and then straight away became that. You know, just by putting more effort in and finding out where you could get the grass from. So I started getting it from China. Where'd you get the rock from? Where'd you get the pegs from? And then started to really source so that to get all my costs low. And then this thing just kicked off, and it turned out to be a pretty big company, you know.
I remember hearing that story with Carl O'Hare. It was awesome how he even discovered, like, you know, the money that was in it. That was it. That's next level, man. And you're kind of saying there's the secret kind of showed you that you were always kind of outgoing, happy-go-lucky, kind of anything is possible kind of an attitude, but didn't really. It was kind of an unconscious thing.
Completely. At the time, it was. I had no idea. I still had no idea. I just knew that you just had to push hard, you know. Yeah.
I found that, and then the older I got, then I think that was my big wake-up call was when I was kind of sifting through life that way, and stuff generally worked out for me. But then I got to a point where I was like, man, this is forever. I gotta fucking do this forever. I couldn't see light at the end of the tunnel with the work. I was making great money when I was in Australia, 2.5, 3 grand most weeks. And I'm like, man, I know how many weeks are in the year, so I know my cap, and then I know what I have to do in order to receive that. And then when the kids coming along, it was like, man, no way. There's got to be more. I'm about the same 6 or 7 years now, kind of going on this journey. And then I mean, one of your probably biggest findings was probably Wim Hof, was it? Or how did you kind of what spurred the thing almost a year ago to do the
again? Well, if I look back at all the businesses I had, and one thing that was missing was the goal, was the end goal, was having a vision of where I wanted it to go. It was really led day by day to just earn as much money as I could within that small period of time. I never had really that end goal. That, you know, I never had a mentor, never had a coach, never had that thing to hook onto to where I was going. You know, and that sort of changed lately. When now you can see, right, when you get a map to your own life, when you can really decide where you want to be and what you want to do and how that looks in the future, you can aim towards something. You know, I never had that in all the businesses I had. It was just run as quick as I could, get as much money as I could, and then it just seemed to level out and stop. Whereas this now, that's the difference now. Is like when my dad passed away in August in 2018, I was like, right, he was my mentor. He was my guide. He was everything. He was like your best mate and everything. You know, he was a top guy. And then you're losing him. You're like, right, who now? Who's going to do that now? You know, I have to find, and who am I? Who am I going to really look up to and follow? So I then started to look around, and that's when you find your Jordan Petersons, your Wim Hofs, your Joe Dispenzas, Bruce Liptons, Joe Rogans, all of these, and from afar you can start to create these new habits, routines, patterns, behaviors in your own life, and then just plan out, just write down what you want, you know, plan it out in short, medium, and long term, and have that goal to aim towards. You know, map. I just call it a map, and I mean, Mrs. put it down the other day. Map stands for meaning and purpose. You know, to really get that meaning and purpose in your own life, and look towards an end goal. And when you find that along the way, if I'm learning anything right now, is like initially I thought I was going to be getting into coaching. That this was it. I was going to be a coach. You know, I've got all this knowledge now. You know, I'm 45 in a few weeks. But right, I'll look back at my life and I'll look at being. And then over these last 12 months, when you start seeing how that works, you think, wait, everybody wants to be a coach. It's like a big coaching bubble right now. It's like so. And everybody wants to be a coach now. It's like, you're going to be a coach. You're going to be a 6-figure coach. You're going to be that in 10 weeks. And you're going to be a millionaire. You're going to lose weight in this sort of time. And what I'm learning is I'm 45. It takes time. It means patience. Slow down. Figure out who you are. Figure out what you need to share and take one step at a time towards that goal. You know?
Love that, man.
And then for me, it's like you get your own individual IP, your intellectual property, which is your journey in life. And then you then deliver what you've learned. The toughest moments in your life are the things you need to share with others, you know, and then you do it. You really do. You lead by example. So, you know, one thing I think Joe Rogan said it the other week, he said 80% of people who stand on stage speaking, they need to get off because they don't do the things that they tell people to do. So you have to lead by example. You have to walk the walk, you know, and surround yourself with people who are walking that same walk, who are doing the same thing, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I hear you big time. And did you find when you took care of the maps, I love that. Do you think when you took care of that, like everything else kind of took care of itself around you? You knew your end goal, you knew what your mission and purpose was, and then it's just like show up and stay in the river.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, as soon as you do that, if you try and force it, if you try and push it, if you try and get further in front of where you actually are, you don't feel genuine and authentic. Right? So you have to take that step back until you feel it. Everything's about feeling, you know? And again, if I've learned anything over this last 12 months, it's that. It's like I'm trying to push something further than it is.
Yeah.
And then friends of mine, and that's the good thing about surrounding yourself with good people. They'll pull you back and wind your neck and go, whoa, wait there a minute. You know, calm down a bit. You're getting a bit in front of yourself. And then you feel it then that you're not genuine and authentic in what you need to do. You know?
That's been a big one for me. That's been a big one for me because the mind, the first book I found, boom, how does everybody not know this? This is, and then, but the last 2 years, it's been like my word has been embodiment. And it's just like, even this interview right now, I've done fucking 300 lives, but right now my body is getting used to a new thing. And it's just like constantly embodying everything. That's when it's up here, it's going to be a little bit easier to embody it because you're going to know what to do moment to moment. But it really is an energy game and a moment. Do you agree with that? On a moment by moment basis, the more of them you stack, the more you can't really see it for a minute. You can't really see what's happening out in front of you. But when you just keep showing up and managing your energy, doing your bits and pieces, that doesn't work, and kind of honing in, like you say, who and what you are and what you're about. That's been a big one for me because, like, I mean, even property excites me. I'm like, all these spokes to the wheel. It's like, Johnny, land something right down and start from the base and just move slowly towards it.
That's right.
And it's kind of like finding the client. For me, I think I have two separate clients. I don't know whether you can help me here with this, but I think I have who I used to be, like coming up from where I came from, partying, doing all that kind of stuff, seeking fulfillment that way, to I feel like I'm gonna give back on a massive scale there, like speaking or online courses or who knows. But I think my actual client is probably a solicitor or an accountant, someone who's going to try lots of different other stuff with regards to their stress, their anxiety, their depression. They've tried alcohol, they're gambling, they're not present with their kids, they're not present with their missus. And I'm kind of seeing that might be actually more where my client is, if I actually have to become more professional. That's something that I'm realizing, I need to be more professional in what I'm doing and showing up in different places.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Again, it's very difficult to land on that avatar because you are the avatar. The old you is the avatar because you know that's what you can share with someone. That's where it's authentic. So you can see somebody who was where you're at, and then tell them how to take the steps to go along their own journey to figure out conscious engagement, conscious awareness. You know, the whole idea is we get stuck. I see it all the time. Is that I have so many super successful people around us right now who are coming to these swims, who are doing what we do, who have succeeded in a high, like millions and millions of dollars, sold their companies for millions and millions of dollars, and then realized, shit, that's where it's supposed to end. You know, I've reached that point, but what now? What now? It's like you've done that. You've trained yourself to be this amazing thing that can create this business and this life. And then you've reached the end. You've still got all this life ahead, but you've got no meaning and purpose anymore because that's what it was. It was the business, you know? So you have to come back to you again. And then what you've learned, what I've learned is to notice the simple things in life, is to be able to go down the beach and notice the really simple things, even like a butterfly or a flower or the simplest thing, and that we don't miss, that we, make sure you don't miss it, you know?
The natural matrix.
Yeah.
You have the matrix of the man-made matrix, and you've got a natural matrix, and that's just a big one that's landed for me. Like everything just seems to be more vibrant. You know, just something as simple as the greenery
Yeah.
here. We always moan about the green, piss and rain, and it's this and that. But when you actually see
Yeah.
it, it's a
Yeah.
meditation in
Get out the
itself.
city.
Just
Get out the city and go and you
yeah,
feel the city when you get out the city and go and sit in a
yeah,
forest or in just a field. Get out there and just go and
yeah,
breathe. You know, you do breath work. I do breath work, and you know, come back to the
yeah,
breath. Come back to the simple things. Come back to meditation. Quieten this mind down for a minute. Stop that chatter. Bah, 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 bah. You know, and you're constantly trying to chase this end goal. Like when I get
yeah.
that million, or when I get that business, or when I sell my business, or whatever. It's like, no, there's never an ending. It's just a constant learning. It's a constant journey. You know, it's like quieting that down so
That's
that you
the
can
biggest
notice
piece
the
there.
people.
Yeah, that's the biggest piece. That's the biggest piece. Like just slowing that down. It's just, even for myself personally, it's like, hang on a minute, man. And you can kind of ask yourself a couple of questions, like, okay, and whatever, you can bring yourself back. But that's the
Yeah,
hardest piece. Like when I first heard that concept, I was like, nah, that's impossible.
I know.
You know, that gap between thoughts. I was like, what are you talking about?
I know.
You
But they're
know,
not your thoughts. And
and I loved it.
you
Yeah.
know, we've been
What were we gonna say?
doing a lot of myself, Michael, Davey, and a few of the others. We've been doing a lot of like training with people who are looking, who've got suicidal thoughts, you know, through different organizations. So we're training intervention, suicide intervention, suicide awareness. And one thing that they don't do is they don't talk to the people about their thoughts. You know, what is a suicidal thought? What is a thought? Is a thought yours? You know, when you're thinking of suicidal thoughts, what is that? What does that mean? Because I think we've all at some point in our lives drove down the road and you have a shit day. I mean, you can easily just pull off the. It's like, that's not me.
Yeah.
That's just a thought that comes
Yeah.
in, and if you hook onto that thought, that becomes your thought. You know, but Alan Watts says it, and he says, you know, that if you think your thoughts, do you first have to think about what you're going to think about? You know,
Say that again.
so if your thought's yours, you've first of all you've got to think what to think. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then if you have to think
yes,
what to think, then you might have to think what to think, and it's like, so that clearly the thoughts aren't yours; they just pass through like a cloud, and then we hook onto the ones that we want to. You know, because you can think some crazy things. You know, you can be around behind a car, and you want to beep and shout, and then as you drive by, it's an old lady like going about a day, and you're like, oh God, I was going to shout, abuse her. It's like, there's just no need. Just calm down. You know, they're not your thoughts, and that's what we've got to learn, is how to quieten the mind down, so we can enjoy our lives a little bit better.
And I see what you're saying about going into the countryside, because when you're saying that, I kind of, you obviously the same. Like when you're in housing estates and traffic and cities, it seems to be like that. There's just more of them. You know, and depending on, because if you go into an area like something like, I don't know, a holistic center or something where someone's put a bit of time and effort into changing the energy, it's like a different, like, you know, it's different. So I hear what you're saying. That's a big thing as well. I like people to focus on, is you can't change what you're not aware of, and until you feel the contrast of, you know, going off grid for a minute or putting the phone down for a while, or you really can't change anything, because that was me. It's just so normal.
That's right.
So until you drop in and kind of feel a spacious energy, or an energy of unconditional love, or all these different words we have, it's very hard. It's very hard to kind of get out of that, because we're just completely. This was me, completely and utterly identified with all of those thoughts, and I wasn't anything beyond that.
That's right.
That was a big one.
Yeah. Well, we constantly talk about what Bruce Lipton's work, and you know, the subconscious mind, and how we trained our subconscious mind to act the way we do. Now, if you've never heard Bruce Lipton's work, then you can't understand that you've actually trained it in a specific way to always do that. You're in autopilot. So the way to break that autopilot is to do things you've not done before. And that's what the Human Excellence Project is all about. The whole basis of it is to get you out of your current routine and start a whole new routine, right? So that, you know, you're getting out of your bed, you don't want to, you're going down and you're meeting new people, you embrace them, you hug them, they say hi, they care about you. Now, whether you're doing meditation or breath work is something new again. Jumping into cold water, you can't go into your mind. shocks you into the current moment. So it's constantly training you to change your subconscious mind and your subconscious behaviors. Do you know what I mean? And then
see what you're capable of.
That's right. That's right. And literally, you are capable of so much. And we've been held back coming from the places we come from, that we can't do the things, you know, coming from Liverpool, coming from Dublin or other cities around the UK. We're trained in school to be a bit dumber. They don't want us to, but they don't even know this information, that you can train your subconscious mind.
They came through the same system. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's what sometimes I come across. I think sometimes I try to share that message in the early days, especially where I try to share that message. And it's not as if I'm making everything wrong or bad. Like the teachers, everyone came through the same system, so they're just reinforcing what they live in. So it's like it's just broken. You know, it's just fucking.
It is, and it's energy and feeling again. You know, you feel that.
Yeah.
And if you look at his work again, you're looking from when you were born till you're 7. You download 95% of your subconscious actions the rest of your life. And the only way to change that subconscious action after that is with repetitive behavior. So doing things again and again and again and again until it becomes a new habit, you know? And I never knew that. Bloody hell. I didn't know that we act. That's why we always end up being like our fathers, like father, like son, because we're copying what was always come before us. And then conscious awareness changes that, being aware of the moment. We've got no excuse now. We've got to show our kids that they can be whatever they want because we know it. You know, don't limit the beliefs.
There's so much that you said there, man. One of the main things is when you're talking the whole dynamic of going down in the morning and giving that hug. I think especially for men, you could just feel that. So when you feel that, it's like it's a safe space to feel your emotion, which is like boom, it drops. You almost feel a lump straight in your throat straight away because it's just not really talked about or okay or safe. Because as men, I'm sure it's the same with you guys in Liverpool. We slag the fucking shit out of each other. We give a hard as banter. So it's really hard to be vulnerable. In those situations for men, especially young guys coming up now. It's like, you know, it's kind of seems like a weakness, but I think but everybody's feeling the same.
That's right.
You know, so everybody keeps that kind of bravado kind of thing going on the outside, but really, I think it takes a lot of courage, and a lot of these guys, or a lot of us even growing up, hadn't got access to that courage to kind of stand out from the crowd and kind of, this doesn't feel right, or this doesn't feel right. It's just kind of a pussy. Or
that's right.
It's easy to kind of just get.
That's right. That word banter. It's, you know, we've all grown up with it, and it's like football banter, or, you know, whatever it is. It
can be ruthless.
It is ruthless. There's no other way. It's like the whole word is designed around taking the piss out of somebody else and belittling them in front of a group of people normally. So generally, when you're giving someone banter, you're giving them anxiety because they then try and back themselves up. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
They try and back themselves up to get themselves out of the corner. I'm like, I can't stand it, mate. I can't stand it. And that, as you say, is like men are struggling. We have got an epidemic of mental illness all over the world right now with men and women. And like when you go into them environments, that old environments that I used to go into, you couldn't speak your truth. You couldn't, because you were worried about banter. You were worried about getting ripped, you know. And then that just suppression happens. Then it's like for years and years, men don't share what their problems are because they're scared of being ripped.
I think there's two sides to that coin as well. There's one that you will get the piss ripped straight out of you, and then the other side of it is you're dropping into a place that most of these guys have never went to before. So it's like it's not a conscious thought to slag you or get angry with you or fob you off. It's actually just a coping mechanism to just shut it down real quick, and then it might create a thought later on in the evening or something like that. You might have sparked something. I find that's a big one, especially when you're looking at, if you're on this journey and you've got parents. I've seen this so often. Parents came up in a different generation most of the time. Like there's nothing wrong about it. And then when the younger, like our age, kind of go on the journey, you're expecting your parents or your family members or your work colleagues to kind of understand where you are at. But people, I just want to say to anyone who's listening, people can't go with you where they haven't gone with themselves.
That's right. Yeah, they're on their own journey.
Yeah,
they're on their own journey, and that's the whole thing. Is don't try and be somebody else. Just be the best version of you. You know.
Exactly.
That's all you can be. Is like you can have mentors, but just take on their traits to become a better version of you. Don't think you can be like them. Just be the best version of you. And that's the whole thing. Is I was talking to a young lad the other day when I was getting my haircut, a friend of mine, and he was asking me if he was to stay on his games, would he have a rubbish life? Would he be like somebody else? And I was like, no, you can't be like them. You're just going to be a crap version of you instead of a great version of you. And then by just making 2 text messages, we got him the best mentor in Australia. He's a hairdresser, and I made him text the top hairdresser in Australia to ask him to be his mentor, right? And he didn't want to, right? So I went back in on the Monday and I said, did you send that text message to him? And he hadn't. So we sent it there and then, right? And the guy got back to him within an hour, and now he's going over there for a week's training with this guy for free, just by making conscious action, you know?
Yeah, that's epic. That's epic.
It's easy though. It's like, just do it. Stop worrying. Stop thinking about it and thinking it won't happen, and just make it happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Simple,
epic.
simple stuff, mate. It really is. But that's what we're learning. Again, if I come back to what I'm learning about what's happening around us right now with the Human Excellence Project, like the Human Excellence Project is going to be just the community element that we do down at the beach. Then we got the Human Excellence Academy, where we're going to be going to corporates and sharing these simple ideas and getting people to just think, be more aware of how they think and how they can manipulate their thoughts to have a better day, right? So we just positive social interactions, you know, changing people's mindsets, you know, getting them to care about the people around them, having meaning and purpose in their lives, intentions and energy, just being more alive. But it starts with that morning routine.
Making a new normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. That's it. It's a new normal, and I just love so many aspects of what you're doing, because creating that community, I think that's something that I've always been trying to achieve, whether it was network marketing, whether it was different things. It's the community, because I think it will really travel a lot faster.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing with you guys, is the impact that it's having. Like if you go into a corporate scenario and you're training everybody together with the same concepts, then when you leave, the ripple effect of that is just it's just amazing, because it's family members who weren't in the work, or kids, everybody's benefiting from that, as well as the ethos changing. And it's just, as you say, it's mostly simple stuff, isn't it, man? It's just like, we don't want to go outside the comfort zone whatsoever.
And that's where it all lives, in things that are hard, you know? We did.
And yes, and it's going to be uncomfortable. That's what, like, I feel like I'm going through one big, long, uncomfortable period, because so much was obviously locked in from 7 to 10 years old. Like, even if someone, like, if you took a redner in school, or whatever may have happened, they can't remember these things. But if they lock in the first 7 to 10 years, like the scientists say, well, then that's what you're releasing. You don't necessarily need to know exactly all the stuff. I think in the coaching world, sometimes you spend too much time. What was I doing when I was 5? And what's this and what's that? And I think them questions and then the knowledge can actually become disempowering. It did for me, you know, looking down the wrong avenues with the wrong questions, whereas it's going to be uncomfortable now, and there's a zone to go through. That's what I think a lot of us, like, we all seen that picture, comfort zone, magic happens. And I'm realizing there's actually a big piece missing there. And that's the journey from there.
It is, and you've got to go in and out, and you're going to go from the comfort zone out to the growth zone and then back in, and you're going to do that every single day, because you're going to feel unworthy, and human beings do. You know, I think Oprah said she had 33,000 people she's interviewed over the years, and at the end of every single conversation, the same question got asked: how did I do? And it didn't matter whether it was a president or just a mom. How did I do?
Wow.
Every single person, you know, because that we just don't believe in ourselves, you know, and you have to. That's all we have. Don't have anything else, and we're running out of time. I'm 45, halfway through the journey, and like making the decisions and choices that I made a few years ago to give up alcohol, to eat healthier, to be more active, to surround myself with good people. I believe it's probably given me another 20 years of life. I do. Easy. And not only 20 years of life, 20 bloody good years as well, where I can enjoy it and be surrounded by people who are flying and doing great stuff, you know. And when you're around them, it's infectious. You want to see the people who we've got around us right now. It's like frightening how great it is, you know. And you can do it.
I love how you create a platform.
Well, it's simple. It has to be.
You can. Yeah, you create a platform. I have a lot to learn from that. Like, you create a platform so that people come to you or the experience. They come for many different things, but the platform has been created so all walks of life are welcome. And then from there, it just grows and you have different people. And the ripple, what's it feel like having that ripple effect? It's not only seeing the people who are coming down on the journey, having breakthroughs or having realizations or transforming over the course of nearly a year now, but also hearing some of the success stories that they, you know, with the career path changing or families,
It's amazing, mate. It's like literally every week. It was only, we were walking down a jetty the other day, and there was one of the guys who Michael brought down, and he was walking down the jetty, and he said, I haven't drank for 30 days. And no one told him not to drink. There was no one said that. But and then he said about how he's getting better with his wife and his kids and everything. And we're like, we're just sitting there laughing, going, Jesus Christ, this thing is so simple. And just because you're around them people, everything starts to change in your life. Everything starts to change. You can't stop that. You know, and it's literally, it's not even that. It's like everyone's stepping into the things that they want to do. If you're in a job you don't like, well, then train yourself to go and get the job that you do want. And then we've got the people around us that will inspire you because they've done it before. You know, as I say, in that coffee shop, the conversations we have in the morning, you're like,
there's so much. Yeah.
It's unbelievable the things that get shared and the knowledge that's in there.
And the connections then, obviously, you know, if someone's in journalism and they want to go into, you know, whatever, psychology, my friends, they can just see the different things that could happen by just creating that space.
That's right. I had a guy send me a message last week, and his psychologist had told him to come down to the beach with us with the Human Excellence Project. We were the prescription. I was like, that's quality. I was like, wow, that's amazing. You know, and that's where this thing goes. Is like, try something. You get out your comfort zone and do it. And we do the 7-day challenge, right? And we've got one young lad, Jensen, who did, the other day was his 7th day. I think it was Friday. It was his 7th day. And his dad couldn't pick him up for whatever reason. So he woke his mum up. He's only 14. He woke his mum up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he said, Mum, you've got to take me to the beach to get me 7 days. And he turned up, and he was like, oh my, at 14 to be able to push yourself that hard, that lad is going to go far, you know?
And then, I just feel that the meaning and the legacy that you're creating here, you know, 14, what's he going to be like when he's 28? What's he going to accredit to the Human Excellence Project?
Mate,
that's deep.
Well, what I seen you do yesterday, or was it? Yeah, it was yesterday, wasn't it, with Niall at the beach? Yeah. And he had like 300 people at the beach. You're like, come on, mate. Yeah. What is that? That is incredible. What a guy. Yeah. How simple.
Boom.
You know? And that's 300 people getting out of their comfort zones in Ireland, getting into the freezing cold ocean. I imagine it wasn't so warm over there, eh?
Fuck, man, it was like, I've never been in an ocean like that. They were waves like Perth, bro. The fucking rip was going crazy. The wave, it was next level, man. It was just unbelievable.
And then you feel amazing the whole day.
Yeah. After round 3 of the breaths, man, you feel like a fucking warrior. Take on the...
Yeah, it does. And if someone's never done breath work before, like, and then they come down and they do it for the first time, it will release and unlock things that you can't even imagine just through oxygen. You know, it's amazing, and it's simple, and that's the whole thing. Is like, just go and try it. If there's anyone like listening that's never done it before and they're bored of being where they're at, try something new. You know, this thing's bloody working, and it's simple. It's simple.
Yeah,
and that's what we need to do. Is like my mate Danny said the other day, like, it needs to be fun. It can't be all serious. Yes. Like, you know, change should be fun. You know?
Yeah.
And that's what we've got to make it.
Absolutely. That's another thing in the personal development and the spiritual scenes. It's a very serious. It's just getting a little bit dated. I think that's where the freshness coming through. Because from our background, like, it's not something that you set out to do. It's just kind of fun. You've tried enough things and realize, hang on a minute, this is what makes sense. This is what feels good. So this is the path I'm on. But then you kind of start to see grey areas.
Yeah, that's right.
In different aspects, and fun is definitely fucking. I'm even guilty of forgetting that myself when I come online. It's like, man, this is accelerates the process.
It does.
You know,
people want to be involved then.
Chemicals to some.
You know. And that's when we get, really, who are you looking for? For me, I'm looking for the 95% of people who have never tried anything like this. You know, the ones, the 5% that are already trying it, it's like, okay, great, you can make it spiritual and woo-woo, and you can do all that stuff. And I'll dive in as deep as anybody. But the ones who we want to get on board, they've got to come because they can see that it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be easy. It's not gonna be, they're not gonna think it's weird. What are they doing now? It's a very religious blood.
Yeah, and it's gonna affect all areas of your life. Like yeah. And that's just a touch on that. In fact, like doing something like what you're doing there, it affects all areas of your life: your health, your mindset, your relationships, your diet's naturally more likely going to change.
Yep.
Your environment, your people you go to, like where you spend your weekends, how you spend your weekends. From one thing. That's where I'm really coming from. It's like I believe on the similar, like raising your frequency.
Yeah.
Is a one solution for me to a lot of problems, because it's not, you're just raising your frequency, so some problems no longer exist, and the ones that do, you now have a different outlook or vantage point to kind of
that's right,
to look at them and change the perspectives on them and kind of unhook yourself. But I mean, the power of the community, man, I'm really feeling that. I really feel inspired to do something along the lines of that.
And as soon as you do that, like it's like it just starts to ripple out, and then you start to see new people coming in who are in really amazing places, wanting to help. Honestly, it's insane what things start to come in. The phone calls I had last week, I had some lady from over in Sydney wanting to mentor me for free, and she's like multiple 7-figure coach and a mentor and speaker. And she rang me like your office, like, right, I want to do this. I was like, wow, that's incredible. And they want to give back, and they want to see, because they just see that it's a movement for change, for growth, but it has to be as well. For me, what's really important is backing it up with science, with facts. It has to be, you have to be able to show someone that, listen, if you do this, if you do breathwork, this will happen in your life. If you do meditation, your mind will quiet. And it's fact. It's fact. It's science. That it will change your life in every aspect of your life as well.
Love that, man. Yeah. What's one of the common threads? You let me know how you're doing for time, man.
Go on, mate. I'm all right.
If anyone has any questions, I'll say to them, put it on there.
Yeah.
What's one of the common threads? We're not touching on a lot of it there. What's one of the common threads you see with doing your other work with like I seen you done the martial arts thing, breaking the boards last time. What's one of the common threads you're seeing there for men coming in, for any men that's listening in there?
Wow. The men's nights are having a massive impact on these guys, and I think again, it's taking them, it's being suggestible, telling them that we're going to get them out of their comfort zones, and we're going to do things that are going to push them and be a bit weird. What even like saying the word meditation can really throw them out, and then we're going to do breath work at the end, but we just throw it on them and just do it, but the common threads are vulnerability, allowing someone, through being vulnerable yourself, allowing someone else to be vulnerable completely changes their lives, literally.
It's a different power. It's a different power wakes up, doesn't it?
Completely different.
A different power wakes up, and a camaraderie. Like, I mean, as soon as someone, I've been in a few circles, and as soon as someone shares something vulnerable, it just instantly connects everybody. It's like we're all dropped in.
And again, it's great when you see someone who you didn't think would speak and be vulnerable, and then the ripple goes out, and then you'll have like 4 or 5 men who'll just share the shit that's going on in their lives at that moment, and what it's like shaking the Coke bottle and letting the lid off, letting that letting it out, letting the air out. It really does have a massive impact in people.
Just massive weight lifted.
Shit. That someone cares, someone's listening, and that, because if they don't get to release that pressure, that's when the pop happens. That's when they make stupid decisions, or you go and get pissed.
Talk a little bit about that pressure, man. I see that pressure as trapped emotions, stuck in different parts of the body. The way you explain that there, it's like, or another analogy I use is, taking Bruce Lipton's science and saying, well, we're just like a fucking hard drive for the first 7 to 10 years, and we're just downloading all this information that we just heard, not that we chose to put in there, but it's in there. So now as we're getting older and wiser, we're kind of letting this stuff out, and it's kind of, well, I don't want to say silent killer, but it's really taking up space in our hard drive, and we want to clear the vessel up. So talk a little bit about your experience with that, like the letting that fucking out.
Yeah, well, you have to, again, though, even being able to open the lid is a new habit that you have to do. So you can't think your way to change. You have to act your way to change.
Yeah.
So it's the doing, it's learning that you can release that lid. So each time we do that, once every 2 weeks, the guys who come, they're releasing the lid each time. And then they're releasing that pressure. They're training themselves to be able to be vulnerable again. That it's okay.
Yeah.
And then slowly they'll start to change their environments, which will then mean they're not going to be with the old friends that take the piss out of them, and and then they change their environments, change their friends, and then start to be changing everything in their lives. You know what I mean? So it's that bloody suppression. We've all got it. All men.
It's invisible. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. It's invisible, but we all kind of feel it, and we feel these feelings dissipate. And sometimes the work is just kind of be with that. Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it just a kind of like, this is uncomfortable, I feel this, I feel like I want to do this, that, or the other. That's a big one for me this year too. I've been aware of it for a while, but it's like, that's what I want you. It's like a volcano in some ways. Like you kind of feel something going on in the lower abdomen area. And not really, it's invisible stuff, but when you release it, you have that fucking weight lifted or that explosion.
That's right. I did a course with a short course with a guy called Richard Grannon. Right? He's amazing. If you've not heard of him, you've not watched him, mate, he's absolutely amazing. Very, very simple, right? And he did a psychology degree in Liverpool University, and now he's doing lots of YouTube clips, and he's got a load of courses that he runs really cheap. And he talks about, I did this one called emotional literacy, which is learning about your emotions. And then every day you write, how am I feeling today? Is it, am I feeling angry, or have I got fear, or am I sad? And that's your primary emotion, right? And that's it. Most people won't go past that. But when you go into your secondary emotions, say you've got fear, it's like, why? Because I'm anxious, right? Which is your secondary emotion. And then you go into your anxious and you say, why am I anxious? Because I'm worried or I'm overwhelmed, in your tertiary emotions. So then you do this emotion literacy every day. You write squared on a piece of paper, you write it. I'm sad, or I'm fearful, I'm anxious, I'm overwhelmed, right? And then why? And then you can hook that overwhelmed to something in your life. And then you can see where it goes as the thread. But then you'll have other ones, you'll be happy because you're proud, and then you feel confident about something else. So, and there's a wheel that he actually does as part of his emotional literacy course. And it makes sense that you can break down your emotions from one primary emotion, anger, disgust, sadness, happy, surprise, anything like that. And then you can take it to why you feel that way. And over time, you then seeing what your primary emotions always are and why they're there. You can break it down to why you feel that way. Yeah. And it's amazing to be.
And then water.
Yeah.
Water the seeds
exactly.
of this one makes me this, and then just nurture the higher vibrational ones, I suppose. Nice.
That's right. Just it's awareness again. It's that conscious awareness of why you feel a certain way.
Yeah. And that's another thing I think that's missing in the spiritual community. Like, you'll kind of see it as shadows as well.
Yeah.
The parts of yourself that you don't see, and we tend to judge in someone else. Oh, look at him, he's doing that. Or look at she, or look at them. But that's the shadow parts of ourselves that we're not looking at.
Yeah.
And then as that's coming up, we're kind of allowing light in. Whereas sometimes in the spiritual community, it kind of comes into consciousness and stops at the heart.
Yeah.
But I love the analogy, we have an animal, we're a human, so we have an animal nature in those lower chakras or in that lower area.
Yeah.
That sometimes positive affirmations on top of a fucking rare beast that's never been seen is like, fuck you, and I am happy,
Yeah.
Like
it's never going to get through.
It's got to be tamed.
That's right. It's never going to get through. Yeah. You can tell yourself all that, and how you feel inside. You can write that all on the mirror all you want. It won't change until you deal with the emotion, what it is there, and why is it there. And you have to sometimes you have to do that hard work of going to release it from the past. Like, why is it there? What happened in the past? Why have I been drinking all these years? What am I actually hiding from? What's the distraction? And that's sometimes, unfortunately, we have to go there. We have to really go deep into that realm, and it hurts.
Does that come up a lot when you're doing the breathing? When you're filling up with the breathing and you're on round 3 or 4, like, and you're kind of sensing areas, do you kind of because I don't do consistent breathing, so I'm curious to know, like, would you sense memories coming up or traumas coming up from continuously doing
Everyone gets something different from it. You know, what I tend to do with it when I do the retentions, I try and get people to have intentions on the first retention, then we go through gratitudes on the second retention, and then we'll do something. I normally play an audio tape to get people to think during the third one, so to really train the mind to listen or to guide them into thought patterns, you know.
Nice.
So, but yeah, everybody has something different. If they've not done before, if they really dig deep into the breath work, it will definitely release stuff that. And sometimes men will be crying or women will be crying, and they don't even know why, but it's released something. You know, it's well worth a go. Anyone should just like Google Wim Hof, and just give it a go at home. You know, just on your own, just lay down and bloody do it. See what happens.
Yeah, it's so powerful. It's like, I find that myself. It's like I'm lit up again after being with yesterday. It was like something that changes your life.
Yeah.
Usually has a lot of resistance around it. There's usually an opposing force almost that just kind of, you know, you commit yourself to going to the beach every morning. Paul and the audio is going to guide me through, and I can get that. But when you're on your own, sometimes, a lot of the time, the resistance seems to be just like, this is going to help me too much. Stay away from that. And that's where we kind of need. This is kind of where we need to have the discipline, isn't it?
That's the leaning in. That's when you don't want to do something. That's when you need to eat the apple. That's when you need, you know, anything that's hard is like, you can get the bloody cake or the apple. It's like, go for the cake, lean in. It's like, I'd rather have that, but I want to go and have that. And this is the constant battle of making better decisions and taking the hard route through life. You know, delaying that gratification. Delaying it, stop going for the instant gratification, easy way out. We constantly look for that easy way out. They're putting the food in the microwave, it's quicker. It's there now. Like, slow it down. Everyone slow down. Stop looking for that instant fix.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the time we're living in. That's the worrying thing, isn't it, for people? Like, we miss the smartphones. We got the smartphones at an age where we can kind of utilize it and not be a product of it. And coming up, it can be a great tool. It can be like everything. It can be like a brick, as they say. You can build a house with it, or you can smash a window. But sometimes, like, trying to have that delayed gratification with the next generation is kind of a little bit.
They have no idea what it means,
isn't it? There's so many dings, so many zaps of the phone, different areas of stuff. Like, it's a little bit like, whoa.
Yeah, the phone's not the problem, is it? It's us. The phone's just a phone. It's up to you how you use that phone, you know. But they've designed them in a way now that our kids are really hooked on them. You know, they're hooked on the computer games. They're hooked on comfort. They want to sit down and lay down, and then they want to see the person on the YouTube channel who's got the big fridge full of load of food, or the Ferrari outside, and they want to aim towards this idea that they think they want, when realize that the guy who's got the Ferrari, who's got the YouTube channel, is probably depressed and, you know, struggling themselves in one way or the other. It's like not the answer. The answer is leaning into the hard work yourself on your own journey, and then putting yourself in environments that will benefit your life, literally. You know, much more.
That's it. It's really just the missing piece is always real life education. Even if you think about kids gaming and stuff like that, I mean, there's so many beautiful skills that they're learning there, like communication, leadership, stuff like that. But most of the kids that I know that I'm aware of, like, it's more that attitude doesn't come out onto the street. You know, the leadership and the communication doesn't really come out to the street. It tends to be more like very anxious or somewhat. So it's like the missing pieces are, as you say, the phone or the gaming is not the problem. It's the missing piece is actually the education
it is.
And the understanding of the body and the mind and how it works and how it operates, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, well, school was never my forte either. And I think I was talking in the school, my son's school, about 6 months ago, and saying that the kids who are the ones who are the naughty kids, like I was at school, they're going to be the entrepreneurs. They're going to be the leaders, whether you like it or not. They're leading the school now. You might pull them out of class and stick them in a room, but they're still going to be the hero when they get out of that room. So it's like, let's train that kid to use his power, his energy, or her energy as good to train the other kids. You know, let's use it, because they are going to be the entrepreneurs, whether you like it or not. You know,
the question of the system. I see that myself. I haven't gone back to schools yet, but it was definitely, you know, didn't really accept a lot of the rules. It just didn't make sense to my mind a lot of the time.
No, there's too many no's. Too many, you can't do that. No's. and then
Too many no's, yeah.
sit down, do
But then you have
this.
Google as well. Like we have Google. I mean,
No,
that's one of the biggest. David Icke talks about that in schools. They just we've all knew and understood it in our own way, but to fill up the left brain with memories disconnects us from the right brain of fucking our knowings, our good instinct, connected to the heart and our instincts. So that's kind of the format, and then the creatives or the, for the want of a better word, antisocial or kind of like that, they're kind of stunned. For me, that really affected me. Like I see that on my journey, I see that constantly being put to the back of the classroom or stuff like that. As much as I didn't show it at the time, it affected me. You know, I'm more often than not standing in the principal's office with my head down, getting the fucking bollocking on.
That's right.
Parents getting called again. Like it's demoralising in a way.
That's right.
And it's actually not healthy at all.
No,
and
that's
I
right.
love where you're coming from there, because nurture these guys, like see the different ways of learning, not expect everybody to learn the same every single year.
That's right. Some kids are academic. Some kids are academic, some kids aren't. It's simple as that. And I was the same. I was constantly in trouble at school. Constantly, I just didn't like it. It never fit the way that I wanted to learn. And then the teachers, they've got to stick to this grade system. They want you to, they want to tick boxes. They want to look. The school needs to look better. So they want to push the kids out, the ones aren't doing well. And all the ones who have done well, they weren't good in school. So what did that tell us? What does that tell us,
Yeah,
we need to look at it another way.
What? Definitely, man. What would you say to someone like who can't get down to it in the beach, or what sort of a little rituals would you have outside of getting down for a swim first thing in the morning? Definitely cold showers, or what would you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we were saying about this over the weekend. I was away with a few of the guys over the weekend at a retreat, and if I've learned anything over this 12 months, of doing it every single day, is you don't need to do it every single day. It's too hard. It's not. It's like if you're looking again at self-care, self-love, doing things for yourself. Turn up when you can, push yourself out your comfort zone as much as you can. Like even before this, I had a shower and I got back, and in my mind now, every single time it's like this sick thing kicks in and goes, just turn it cold, and I go, oh no, here we go. Turn it cold. Every single time I get in the shower now, it's a cold. It has to go cold at some point, But you don't need to go to the beach every day. You don't need to follow that trend. You just turn up when you can to become part of a community of people that are pushing themselves, and then bring the best side of you down to teach somebody about what you've done. But it is then to do your own breath work, or to do a yoga class, or, to get out your comfort zone one way or the other and keep growing.
The podcast, would you listen to a lot of podcasts or audiobooks?
Yeah.
Who's your favourite?
Well, I was listening to Conversation with God today again.
Nice.
Yeah,
love him.
Michael told me he put it onto me, a good mate of mine, Michael. I was listening to the sixth, I think it was the sixth episode in that. And again, just the gold in that with Neil Donald Walsh is just brilliant. Yeah. But again, podcast is the London Real. If you're listening to Aubrey Marcus or whatever, there's so much gold out there.
Yeah. Do you watch TV anymore at all?
No, I haven't.
Not really.
I don't even really watch football anymore. It's like even that stuff.
Yeah, neither.
It's really just focusing on. It's just too busy at the moment. So it's like focusing on what's coming up, what change can we make, and how we can implement that moving forward. So the short-term goals for us now is to pull together the workshops and programs that we're going to be doing for corporates. So I'm really focusing on that at the moment, is how we can deliver this simple information that we've learned over the past 12 months of doing this, and deliver it to people to make their lives just that little bit better.
Awesome, man. Have you got any gigs booked yet? Is that for 2020? Is it all preparation now, or how's that looking?
Yeah, well, we've got appointments with Rio Tinto. We're also speaking with a recruitment agency, 2XM, who are organising they've organised an event called the Human Excellence, they're calling it, and they've invited all the mining companies to it, and that's on the 24th of October, where myself and Michael are going to be speaking. And again, we're bringing VR into it, so we can give people a feeling of what is fear, when you walk the plank on VR. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be having the setup, and then we're going to, again, it doesn't matter whether you're the CEO of the mining company or you lower pay grades. everyone struggles in their own way. So it's just to show people that, just try something new, do the breath work or do meditation in your own time and just be consciously aware.
Yeah. Then your day when you're doing that, your day kind of becomes one big long meditation, isn't it? Like that's another thing, as you say, that sometimes the word meditation is so frowned upon. It's mad sometimes, but we've all kind of come from that.
Yeah.
But then when you're doing the dishes mindfully, listening to some London Real, or you're doing stuff like that, you're genuinely just managing yourself. And I think that's severely underestimated what that's actually doing. Because for myself, that's a big one I'm learning this year. It's like that instant gratification is taking a back seat. I'm aware of it, so I see it and I don't follow it. But it's in the simple little things. And then, I mean, so often I kind of resort to going back to my tools, or try another network marketing company, or I'd reboot, try to get network marketing going again. But it was always coming from a place energetically that I would have, if I had it, that's why it didn't work. Because I couldn't sustain that energy, because it was kind of a lack or a fear-based energy. Whereas when you're over here and you're talking about unconditional love, that's another phrase that can put people off, but it's really the opposite to fear. That's the way I see it. It's like that feeling when you're in a vulnerable share, or someone sharing that feeling there where you can hear the pin drop. That's what we're trying to get for as many moments of the day as possible. You agree with that? Yeah.
100%, mate. It's all about love. The whole thing. That's all we're looking for in our lives. I have to
even get used to saying that. I know that I love your confidence there, man, because it is, but it sounds cheesy. I'm getting used to kind of saying it's all love, because you have that peace and love.
It's all it's about. There's nothing else. That the whole of our lives is like, at the end of the day, you're going to be laying on that bed and you're going to be surrounded by the people who love you. That's it. There's nothing else. You're not going to have no bank manager there, no manager, no, supervisor there, no one. It's going to be the people you love. That is it. And if you're standing there and your friend's dying, you'll tell him you love him at that moment. So tell him you love them now. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, And that's what I've learned over these years. Like, if men can embrace that word love, go home and tell the missus, fucking love you. I fucking love you more than anything, because that's all you Why'd you get up every day and do the things you do? Why? You do it for the people who are in your house who you love. Why'd you do that? You care that much about them. Tell them more, and then tell your friends.
I love that distinction,
share it with everyone.
Yeah. That's because the man mindset is kind of like, well, I'm going to have to do this every day for us. You know what I mean? Can you not see how much I love you? But it's like just a simple.
But you get lost in it. You get lost in it, and over the years, you go so disconnected from your wife or your kids, and you're doing everything you can for them, and it's all because you're not coming back and telling them you love them. Just hold them and tell them you love them, and then it just keeps everyone on the same path together. Because that's all it's about. That's why we've done it. We want to stop family breakups. We want to keep families together. We want to keep parents and kids. You don't own your kids. Let them go on their own journey. Let them fuck up. Let them make mistakes. I'm learning that myself. I've got a 17-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl. It's like, they're going to make mistakes. I made loads. We don't own them. We just got to back them up and allow them to do that, and love them all the way through,
Spiritual partnership. Do you agree with that? With your kids? They teach you a lot.
Oh my God, mate. I'm learning every single day.
Sometimes
it's so hard.
Sometimes they're the leader.
It's so hard, mate. It's so hard when you've got young kids. They really test you, because you want to sleep. I remember I used to have my son be going, "Please go to sleep," and I loved him so much. And then he'd go to sleep, and then you got that peace and joy. But it's just, it changes every single year. You've never been a parent to a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, 9-year-old. You're learning as you go. There is no manual, but all you can just come back to is that love. Just care.
Yeah. Patience, play, presence. That's what I say. That's what I kind of want to teach. Kids are here to teach you patience, play, and presence, because that's all they really want to do, isn't it?
Stop taking it away from them. Just make them do it more. Yeah.
Did that change your life much back then? 17 years ago. Did that kind of give you
oh my God, mate. It was something I needed at that time to calm down, because it was a bit nuts back then. It was, we were going out too much. We were partying that much, but then it didn't really slow down for the first few years. We still carried on. You just don't know. We didn't know it when.
I always say it takes a man. I think it takes a man about 5 years to really realize that he's a dad. Because we didn't cook the baby.
Yeah.
So we know that we have a son. We know that there's a baby here. But it genuinely, for me, I think it's the same with you. It takes a minute to really hone in, and then that journey for me, it was the journey from boy to man.
Yeah.
Which I feel I'm still on.
Yeah.
You know, like, who am I as a man? Like, who do I aspire as a man? Like, most of my freaking friends are Bruce, all these guys. I've been just consuming the information from all these guys through audios and stuff like that. So it's like you're now, like what you said earlier, creating the man, knowing your values and creating the man from there.
Yeah, that's right.
Because,
but if there's one thing,
we're all little boys inside.
We are, mate. We are, but we have to lead by example. You have to show them.
Yeah.
You have to show them the way. Don't tell them the way. You know, you tell them, they will not listen. You have to just show them, and then your kids will follow what you do, not what you say.
Yes.
They don't care what you say, you know, because they've got their friends who are a bit cooler, and that's another thing that I see. Like, the problem we have with teenagers, with schooling system, is we don't give our kids goals. We don't give them a plan. So that's why we have a problem with teenage mental health and kids having mental health. They don't know who they think they've got to be like the kids in the year above or the year above that. We don't give them follow the sports star or the musician or whoever it is that's around them. Follow them and do the things that they do. I was listening to Steven Gerrard the other day, and he was talking about, if you wanted to play for Liverpool and be around him, you had to be at the top of your game. Had to be. Don't be coming to training and doing 50% all through the week. I'm not interested. Get out of my way. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we need our kids to follow that sort of role model, not the kids who are 2 years in front selling weed, wearing black.
Yeah.
You know? So the whole idea of like the Human Excellence Project down the line is to take it to schools, to provide like 20 mentors that the kids can look up to and see that they're pushing themselves in certain ways in their life, and then give them the tools and skills to be able to get to the places they want to get to. You know, provide mentors, I think every single term, a child should have a goal to what they want at the end of the term. Like, so you're there. So what do you want at the end of the term? Do you want an A? Do you want a B? Where are you? Have you got a C and you want to go up to a B? Give them something to aim for.
Just that's one little tweak.
Tiny tweak. You know, or become better. Just have a goal. Any goal. Become better at something. You know? And we don't do that. Start them there.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to swipe across here, see if anybody's got any questions there, man. Where will people find you? I have your Facebook link put across on your Facebook page is on my page. But if you have any links or anything you want to put in there, that website, anything like that.
Yeah, I'll stick the website up there. We've got Michael Henderson's brother Paul Henderson and his friends we're doing a global swim rise on the 5th of October to celebrate a whole year of dipping. You know, so we're going to try and do get loads of people all over the world jumping in the ocean on the same day, on Saturday the 5th. So you can join in, mate. You can
count me in, 100%, 100%. Yeah.
And then these guys over in the UK are setting up. They're doing videos for us. They've got like a professional marketing team, a communications team, helping us out to put something decent together, which is unbelievable. You know, and then we want to really start ramping up. Once we finish that, we're going to start ramping up into next year and seeing if we can get this thing works, right? It's simple and it works, and we can do it all over the world. Niall's doing it. You know, Kenny and even Aaron. I've just seen Aaron pop up. They're doing it up at the mine sites. They're getting themselves in the pool every day. They're pushing themselves. There's people all over the world that are starting to do this now. You know, whether it be Wim Hof or Marcel. Marcel's coming over again in November. Marcel's going to be doing it on the 5th, jumping into the ocean wherever he is in the world. Marcel Hoff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like
awesome.
Just get onto Facebook or Instagram and just get involved. Just do it for yourself, you know.
Yeah. Do you ever do any online breathing meditations or breath work?
I've never done one. I've never done one. No. Again, mate, I've tried to keep it simple as I can. I need to probably lean in. I see you doing videos all the time. Like, God, he's doing it again. Yeah. You do loads of videos. I don't.
See, man, I'm looking at you saying this. I'm looking at you saying the same thing, man. So everything you're talking about with skills and all, I'm definitely going to connect with you more, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we've got to do, mate.
So much. Yeah, it's just one big life hack, isn't it? Like, I can't really, just at the scene in a different way. They're looking at the different, and we'll get to actually talk a little bit about the cold health benefits in themselves, but the amount of different things that happens from that one thing, is quite literally mind blowing.
Yeah, It is, mate. It is. The cold's massive. You know, it really is. It's very, very simple. Very simple thing to do is to jump in the cold water every day. You know, and at the very least, everyone should be doing just that alone. But again,
Yeah.
that's something that we've done every day now for 365 days. And then what I'm trying to do at the end of this is to make it more simple. Moving forward, for me, I want to start pushing it a little bit further, as I say, going into mine sites and getting the guys to, instead of, before they start work, to go and do that. So hopefully we can get up to the mine sites and train people, you know, show people just to get out their comfort zones before they go to work, to push themselves, to get out of bed a little bit earlier, to eat healthier, to try something new. You know, that's what I think we need to do is just get people trying new things.
Yeah. And then what do you where do you see the world going in 5-10 years of all this rippling and all the different people out there doing their thing and spreading the message? Do you see what do you see 10 years? Your boy's 27. What's it look like?
Oh my word, mate. The exponential growth that we've got going on at the moment, I really think that the workshops, the mentorship programs, the people who are involved in the project now, people who are successful in business, like Carl, like we've got Andy and Roscoe and a few others that have popped in now that are very, very successful in business, that they'll be sharing their knowledge with younger people. That's how I see it. They'll be sharing it with younger people to show them that they can concentrate on business, but don't also forget about yourself. You know, work on yourself too. You know, do the inner side, do the work on the inside out. You know, don't forget about that, because you can concentrate too much on your work and lose all that side of it as well. So the way I see it over the next 5 years is growing that, is growing a community of people who can go around, whether it be to schools, to rural places, and just getting people to be more consciously aware of each moment of each day, you know, and helping the people around us. Just go and help them. But you know, I can see really big things for this project and the academy that we're going to grow. You know.
Awesome, man. I think we leave it there then, Paul. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you, man.
And you, mate.
I definitely think we should have more conversations, because we had a couple of messages back and forth in a 2.5-minute call this morning. So yeah, I'm excited to connect with you. I've got so much to learn from you, man. I'm really admiring your consistency, dedication. Like, I mean, 360 days of going to the ocean every morning is just, man, respect.
Yeah.
And good on you. Yeah,
join us, mate.
Good karma there for you.
Start pulling people over it. Start doing it over your way, mate. It's like, you know, I know Niall's doing it now. He's having a massive pull himself around Ireland.
I said it to the boys yesterday, at least once a month starting, and then I'll get my second motor. We're sharing one motor at the moment, and I think at least once a month. It's coming into the winter here, but that's a bigger challenge. It doesn't stop me. It's like, I just want people to experience what they're capable of, because even myself, I'm doing the cold showers about 2 months now, and if I sit on the end of the bed, or if I go down and have a coffee first, you just hear the noise. But when I get up, you have to get centered. You have to be here now, and then you fucking enjoy it. You know, you get the cold on, you bring it up, and it's all of a sudden you're warm. You're actually enjoying the cold shower, which is just like, I just want more people to experience that. There's many different ways we can do it. Just a breakthrough, an experiential moment for themselves, and then it just ripples out. And I just think that in 5 or 10 years time, I'm really optimistic about government officials, you know, like banking systems, you know, AI being utilized. We don't need to be worried about AI. We need to be focusing on the human aspect of ourselves that can't really be copied. You know, well, maybe you can, who knows what else is out there. But, and like you said there, business and life, we just had a great conference yesterday with Fit Guru. Business, we spend a lot of time in our business. So even if it's someone else's business and you really love your job, you need to have these skills so that you can actually carve out a speciality in there, or, you know, demand more money in a respectful way, or, you know, more days off in a respectful way, just to see everything change. Because when we're empowered, we obviously know our power, and then everything changes. Organizations adapt. Coles and Woolworths, Tesco's, these all change their food. Everybody changed with the market. So I think that between us guys out here doing it, and then all the legendary Bruce Lipton's, Brian Rose, all these guys, I just see that I'm really optimistic about where we're going.
Oh,
with this,
really
but
optimistic. Yeah, whether it be we're going to have massive change in government, massive change in the monetary system. It's all changing now. People are too aware.
we might have good news on every hour, like fucking good news bulletins. How many people go home safe from work rather than how
Well,
many
will
died this year,
anybody watch TV? I don't even know whether they will anymore because they'll get onto that.
Probably
It's just
not. Probably not.
someone's
Good point.
opinion. You know, it's stupid. Yeah, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
People will be doing this more
It
often
is.
and sharing just ideas of what works and what doesn't work. You know,
Yeah.
listening to
Very
real,
true.
and then
Yeah,
only
very
focus
true.
on the things that you can change. The things that you can't,
Boom.
stay away from them. There's nothing you can do with them.
Yeah.
Focus
Yeah.
on the change around
Very
you.
good. Very good point, man. Very good point. Yeah. Awesome.
Love it, brother.
Paul, it's an absolute pleasure, brother.
Thank you,
Very
brother.
much, man.
Take care. Good to
Speak to you
speak.
soon.
Take care.
Enjoy your weekend, man.
See you, brother.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Boom.